Young people, welcome back. BMB in house. Glad to be here, guys. One of my favorite lessons, one of my favorite skills to teach the young folks. Take a look at it. Chapter 8, Lesson 2. Multiply a polynomial by a monomial. The objectives, according to McGraw Hill, Chapter 8, Lesson 2. Multiply a polynomial by a monomial. And second objective, solve equations involving the products of monomials and polynomials. So right there, guys, here we got two things going on. We'll definitely be solving some equations that involve multiplying polynomials, as well as just multiplying polynomials. So skill, multiplying, solving. The concept, polynomials, which can include a monomial, one single term, binomial, two terms, and a trinomial, three terms. Let's get started. All right, guys, as we see our handout, I'll definitely be like, all right, who can tell me a binomial, trinomial? Because just knowing it helps you out, right? Because vocabulary. Number one, find each product. In other words, multiply. So we're going to multiply the monomial a, or the term a times everything inside the parentheses. So a times 4a, and of course, a times 3. And I believe that's it. I get my answer. 4a squared plus 3a. Got it. Number 2. Number 3, we're doing the odds first. X times 2x, I like my arrow, so distributive property. And x times negative 5, so boom, bang, pow. 2x minus, 2x squared minus 5x. Number 5, again, a monomial looks like negative 3n times n squared. So negative 3 times 1 is still negative 3. But n times n squared has 3 total n's now, so we're going to go ahead and, I'm showing the distributive property, writing it out with the blue plus in the middle. That looks pretty, I like that. I like how I'm showing that. Distributive property all day long here, guys. Showing the work in number 5, and kind of number 1 too, right? A lot of you guys might not need to do that, but that's why we're here, so that we can see how I ended up getting the answer that I got for number 5. For number 3, I'm writing it out because I don't want to make a mistake with the invisible one. 3x times 5x squared, 3 times 5, and of course x times x squared. 3x times a negative 1, x, negative 3x squared, and then of course 3 times 4 is 12, so 12x. Number 9, similar to number 9, similar to number 7, we're already there, right? Negative 4b times everything inside. And what's the beauty of it, if you got your multiplication down, this goes really fast, right? 4 times 1, duh. 4 times 9, duh. And 4 times 2, duh. So, but signs, variables, exponents, right? So being very keen and clear that you're getting your final answer correct. Because even the middle term of positive 36b, you messed up, you put a minus. It's okay, it's gonna happen, right? It happens. All right, last one here though. Look at my new technique. Instead of writing it all the way across, guys, I just said distributive property. 2m squared times 2m, 2m squared times 3m, and 2m squared times negative 5. So just showing that the way your brain wants to do it is the way you can do it, as long as you're going to get the right answer, right? So instead of me showing the arrows, the little arrows over there, I just went with what I knew, how I get it, right? And of course, show a little work because of course you could do that in your head. And if you just had an answer right there for that last one and you didn't show any distributive property work, and that's what that was, just going down to show distributive property, right? So nothing new, same thing. Starting from the top again. So number 2, negative 1c times 11c plus 4, or the quantity 11c plus 4. So negative times a positive gives me a negative, and a negative times a positive gives me a negative. So the only thing that changed was, oops, I made a mistake. You see it? I know my editor is. That number 2 ain't right, y'all. It ain't right. I ain't gonna say that now. He gonna fall. All right, so number 4, I didn't make the mistake there. 2y times y is not 2y. It's 2y squared, as you can see. So for number 2, moving quick, I forgot to put the exponent of c squared. Number 6, 4h times 3h gives me, come on, 4 times 3. And then of course 4 times 5. Oh, negative 5, good job. Or, as I am about to show you here, same thing, keep the minus, because now the minus with the 4h times 5 is going to give you 20h. So negative 20h or minus 20h. There it is, guys. So again, the small mistake with number 2, the breakdown of number 6. We're getting better. We're getting better, right? So, and it feels good when you get better. It feels good when you get them right. So if you haven't paused it yet to try it out on your own, you got to do that when you watch these videos. You got to pause it yourself, try the one that you think you know how to do, then hit the play, just rock it with me, right? Just see if you're catching on. You can always go back. All right, all that talking and I got behind. 8, done. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 2, 14. 7 times invisible 1, 7. So I went ahead and took care of the coefficients. Now, of course, the variables, c to the 3rd, and c to the 4th. Easy to multiply your variables, right? Here we go, 6y and a negative 5. So easy enough to see here, right? I'm just doing it. Negative 30y, because 6 times 5 is 30. Negative 6y squared, because 6 times negative 1 gives you negative 6, and y times y squared. And lastly, of course, 24y to the 3rd, because 6 times 4, and y times y squared. Negative 3n squared negative 3n squared times negative 2n squared, 6n to the 4th. Negative 3 times 3, negative 9, and then of course, I got 3 total n's. And then the last term inside that parentheses, right about here, right? Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, and of course, n to the 2nd. So a lot of distributive property here, guys, but a lot more of you knowing how to multiply exponents. How to multiply monomials, and of course, getting your fresh new exponent. Here we go. So guys, you're adding an extra skill, and the extra skill they're adding is addition. We would add if we had to collect like terms, but first we got to do distributive property. So w times the 3w plus 2. So of course 3w squared plus 2w, and then bring it on down. Bring it on down, right? Now collect like terms. 2 plus 5 is 7. I have to remind them about the music. Been here all the time. Good job. So 15, again, what do you see? I see something touching the parentheses, which means I'm doing the distributive property. But I see something outside of my parentheses, which means be careful. So negative p times 2p, negative 2p squared. Negative p times negative 8, negative times negative, positive. And of course, just 8p, right? But again, bring it on down. 3 terms. Am I adding all 3? Of course not. I'm only adding the like terms. The terms that are like, similar, word more used, 8p and negative 5p. So we get 3p. All right, guys, this could be one of those ones where you want to pause, or hang here with me, right? 2x times the quantity of 3x squared plus 6, quantity closed, minus 3x cubed. So 2 times 3 and 2 times 4. X squared times x and just x, right? And then of course, this time it was the first term and the last term, which I'm not indicating with circles or underlines, but knowing what are your like terms is definitely a skill you're gonna need, right? So let's knock this one out right underneath. 4 times 5 is 20, but the positive times the negative, negative 20b squared. Positive 4 times negative 3, negative 12b. And here it is, guys, where again, you see subtraction, I see a negative. So negative 2 times b squared, negative 2b squared. Negative 2 times 7b is a positive 14b, and then negative 2 times 8 is just positive 8. So now I've got all those terms sitting down there. Here's my shape method. So those have been rocking with me for a while. I'm using the box for the b squared. There we go. Negative 20 and negative 2 give me negative 22. Now, next one, use a circle for the b term. So of course, negative 12b and a positive 14b. I got more positives than negatives, so I take away in my head and I end up with 2. So there's that 2b. And then of course, there's only one term left. You'll get the triangle, a full-fledged shape method of collecting like terms. I love it. I love it. You love it? That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. I think we're wrapping up the top portion of this handout, which was simplifying, which means to do the problem. I always crack up like, what am I supposed to do? Simplify, do what you're supposed to, add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever the problem says, right? Oh, second part, forgot, odds and evens. That evens. Here we go, 14. One term in front of the parentheses, one term behind it. One of them gets multiplied, the other one does not. So, drop it like it's hot. Shout out to Miss Ryan. She taught me this one. So, the top portion stays, the second part comes down. So, we did the distributive property, 5f squared. F times negative 3, negative 3f. Your two last terms, negative 3f and negative 2f, add up to negative 5f. Here we go again, y squared, parentheses open, negative 4y plus 5, parentheses closed, minus 6y squared. No arrows, no nothing, just straight into it. Y squared times y gave you the y cubed. And then of course, invisible 1 times negative 4 and invisible 1 times 5. So really nothing hard with the multiplying. But the negative 6y squared came down, and now the second and the third term are collected, leaving me with a negative 1y squared. But you can't forget your first term. All right, 18. What's coming down? That would be the question I asked. What's not going to change? Good, good. The 9a does not change. But 4 times 5 gives you the 20. A times a squared, a to the third. 4 times 4 is 16, so negative 16 because it was a negative 4. And this is what I mean by the 9a did not change. It just came down. Collect your like terms. Ooh, caught myself there, huh? You see that? I saw that. See that? I saw that. All right, so 20a cubed, and then of course more negatives and positives, so negative 7a. Gotta love it. For 20, looks like our big dog, right? 3 times 3, 9. M times m, m squared. 3 times 6 is 18, so 18m. Now the negative 3 times m squared, negative 3m squared. Negative 3 times 4m, 12m. And then of course a negative 3 times 1, a negative times a positive is a negative. And I did the distributive property just that fast. I only have to multiply 3. Love it, because I'm breaking down why or who or what's going on with minus 3. Yeah, no, it's negative 3. But yes, it becomes minus 3m squared because the negative 3 times m squared, right? Now, you caught it, I caught it. Not a mistake because we caught it. Negative times a positive is a negative, so that's 12m to negative 12m, right? And it's good to take your time and go through because as you can see, even the instructor with years of doing this will make a mistake. So slow down, take your time, ask questions, right? Using my line method, 9 minus 3 gave me 6. 18 minus 12 is going to give me 6. And of course, that little minus 3 just gets to hang out with us. Excellent job, excellent job. All right, if I'm not mistaken, now I can say, let's solve some equations. So, very important that everybody kind of gets the clear understanding that these are my big dogs, you know. When I tell my kids, you know, oh, we're going to solve some equations. Oh, like, no, they're not big dogs. Simple ones, right? Well, these have multiple steps. Let's take a look at it. First one has an equal sign with, parentheses on the left. So I see distributive property on the left. I see multiple terms, so I'm going to have to collect like terms. And yes, I have variables on the left and the right, so I'm going to get my variables on the same side. Let's take a pause. Let's take a pause. Just got to take a pause. Let's take a pause. Raise your hand if you've been here before. Yeah, I said that. Yes. Thank you for raising your hand. I appreciate that, y'all. DP, distributive property. CLT, collect like terms. Boss, variables on the same side. And then, of course, you should be staring down at the two-step. So if you haven't seen these before, you haven't seen my video on solving multi-step equations, right? So many different ways to do this, guys. I've had teachers say, your variable has to be on the left. All variables on the left. Okay, you're the teacher. I ain't tripping. So there's always different ways to get the right answer. There's always different ways to get your point across. So just wanted to stop and make sure that everyone that's here now with us understands what is those letters and what's going on. This is the BMB method of solving a multi-step equation. So as I was talking, you heard me say, oh, I got parentheses on the left side. Well, that means I probably got distributive property on the left side. On the right side, there is no distributive property because there's no parentheses. And the next one, collecting like terms. Well, I'm probably going to have to collect like terms. And I start thinking about all of this as I'm solving it, right? So let's get back to it. And we got probably 6 of these. So I think you'll have time to pause it, try it out yourself, and then come back and see if you were successful, right? Here we go, guys. Let's get at it. What do we do? What happened? Oh, I distributed the 3, and I got 3a plus 6 plus 5. I collected like terms with 6 and 5, gave me 11. And here comes my favorite, boss. So see if I get moving boxes. Oh no, I did it the horizontal way. I'm subtracting 2a from the right here. So that means I also got to subtract it, from the left over there. Because what I do to one side, I got to do to the other side. You got to love that statement, right? So negative 2a because I subtracted. Plus 3a, leaves me with 1a. Now, of course, on the right side, those just cancel each other. So I got my variables on the same side. And yes, I'm looking at a two-step. Go ahead and subtract 11 from both sides. I get negative 7. Divide both sides by 1. I get negative 7. Ooh, I like that. I could show it a little bit more work at the last 2 steps or things, but I like how that turned out. Number 23. What do I see? I see parentheses on the left and the right side of the equal sign. I see drop downs, meaning the positive 2 needs to get dropped down, the negative 6 needs to be dropped down because they're outside of the parentheses. Which probably means I'm going to have to collect like terms. I'm going to be ready for that. Steps are there. Line is drawn. Let's make it happen. 4 times y and 4 times 2. 5 times y and 5 times 1. 5y plus 5. Now somebody said 5y plus 1, and that's a mistake. It's okay. 4y plus 8 minus 6. So 2 came down, and 6 came down, just like we said. 5 plus 2 gave me 7 on the left side, you get it. 8 minus 6 gives me 2, right? So now variables on the same side. Here we go. Now moving box though. Subtract 4y from the right side. Do the same thing to the left side. 5y minus 4y gives me 1y plus 7 equals 2. Anytime my coefficient is 1, I'm all good with that. So we're going to solve this 2-step. And I think it's done. Yeah. You don't have to divide by 1 because, it's going to be the same thing. But 23, I like it. What about 25? 25, I see variables on both sides. I see parentheses on both sides. And I see a drop down, meaning that plus 14 we just wrote, it's just going to come down after the distributive property. And that minus 10, it's just going to drop down right after the distributive property. Looking good so far. 6 times m and 6 times negative 2. 3 times m and 3 times 2. Ooh, what am I doing now? Oh, I'm recognizing my like terms. Negative 12 plus 14. And on this side, 6 minus 10. Variables on both sides. So here, ooh, I didn't show a thing. I didn't show a thing. Am I gonna show some work? I subtracted 3m from both sides. That's why on the left, 6m became 3m. And on the right, there wasn't more 3m because I subtracted it from both sides. Subtract 2 from both sides, you get negative 6. So what number times 3 gives me negative 6? Negative 2. Good job, guys. All right, get all of that out of there and know that we're not done. I told you, you know it. So same thing. Again, I keep saying it because you're here for help, and I think you got it. So try a few on your own, right? Finish out the video after you did 1 or 2 of these without seeing the answers, because I'm not going to stop. Believe it. 2 times 4x gives me 8x, and 2 times 4 is 2. The negative 8 comes down. You see I said negative 8, I didn't say minus 8. It's just in your vocabulary, what you understand. 11 it, just 4 times x and 4 times 3. Nothing has to come down. Variables on both sides, so let's get them all on the left side. Get rid of the 4x. I hear bells in my sleep, y'all. Is it done? Okay. Distracted me from finishing up number 22 here. But I think we got it, guys, because you got this. 2 steps, collecting like terms, distributive property. Number 24. 4 times the quantity of b plus 6 is equal to 2 times the quantity of b plus 5, all plus 2. 4 times 1 and 4 times 6. 2 times 1 and 2 times 5. You see what we got? 4b plus 24 equals 2b plus 10 plus 2. No terms to collect on the left, but over here you can kind of see the 10 and the 2. And again, guys, this is repetition, right? So the same thing's going to be happening. Oh my God, I showed some work. Why didn't I do that earlier? I don't know. I did it there. Subtracted 2b from both sides. Oh, look, and I'm showing the 2-step work. Subtract 24 from both sides. So again, guys, whether I show my work in 24, if I show my work in 26, if I show my work in 22, show your work. Always show your work. These videos will be an hour and a half if I showed every little step that I have to do in some of these problems. So yeah, we want to get them in. You can always pause. And definitely when you see one that makes sense to you, pause it, man. Take a picture, write those notes down, because your success is going to come when it gets there. All right, so keep coming back watching these videos till you get that success. 3 times c, 3 times 15. What? 3 times c and 3 times 5. 3c plus 15. The minus 2 came down. On the other side, I had 2 times the quantity of c plus 6, so we ended up getting 2c plus 12. Both sides had terms we had to collect, which ended up giving us 3c plus 13 is equal to 2c plus 14. I subtracted 13 from both sides. So this time I did not get rid of my variable first. I got rid of my constant first. It does not matter. I mentioned that earlier. Depending on your teacher is going to depend on how you learn this. And there's multiple ways to get your answer, guys. So absolutely, c equals 1. And you'll recognize that nothing really changed except I did 1 step before I did another step inside of my multi-step equation. And that's it, guys. We got a nice 25-minute video or so, and we handled some real good material. I think I said it earlier, guys, one of my favorite lessons. It's really gonna bridge into your algebra ability as we start talking about quadratics and we start talking about systems, right? There's always going to be more that we can do. Guys, thanks for checking me out. Comment, like, share. See you in the next video.